here with Kevin Costner, award winner, coming back with a cinematic masterpiece with Horizon and American Saga. Welcome. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Yeah, can you just talk to me about this passion that you do have for telling these pieces that are rooted in the West, this one in the Civil War? Where does
I don't know,
stem from?
that time, that era, when people were having to make up their own rules, it's really interesting to me how people arbitrated their lives when they didn't have lawyers, when they didn't have agents, when they didn't have all this stuff, and what they had was at risk. There's drama in that. There's drama in not knowing what's going to happen. When you see a stranger coming towards you, the drama is in not knowing what's going to happen. If something happens, it turns into what? Action, right? But when you don't know what's going to happen, that's a recipe for tension. So the West offers that, and it offers this beauty against the landscape. And if we look at it deeply, we realize that it's not a land in Disneyland, Frontierland. It's real. Those places were hostile. They were also beautiful. They were also a promise. If you were tough enough and you could hold on to it, that could be yours.
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned the landscape, because to me that's almost another character in your movies. How do you go about choosing where to shoot these films so that it captures that essence?
I'm relentless. The people don't even like to scout with me, because I might be looking at here and all of a sudden I go like that, and there's a mountain right there, and everybody that's with me goes, oh shoot, he's gonna go over there. If I look across the river, it's like, oh no, we're gonna have to get a boat. These places speak out loud to me. It's where I set my story.
You mentioned dignity, especially when talking about using stories from the Native Americans and indigenous people. How do you really represent that, not only in the retelling of it for us as the viewer, but also I would imagine for all of the actors that you bring in, making sure that dignity is coming across on camera?
Well, you have to see them as authentic people that have wives, have their own dreams, have their own flaws, and their own sense of humor. And if you do that, you'll recognize them. Men have trouble with their wives. And they also have trouble with differing opinions, and they become divided. You know, and they're only divided over a group of people that are coming that had no business being there. We created chaos.
Yeah.
It's emblematic of the first shot, which is the ant hole.
Yeah.
And then a stake goes into it.
That was a very powerful way to start the film, by the way. I love that there was even that, not only creative element, but that intentionality from the beginning. Another intentionality that I noticed was the strong female characters. How and why was that important to you?
I didn't know how to tell a story without telling the women's story. And the more we told the story, the more dominant they became. They were just dominant in our film, and it's a better film because of it. It's more interesting. Of course, women are important in the West. We don't survive without the women, but they were, unfortunately, were worked to death. It was hard to be a woman in the West.
You've created really an incredible ensemble cast, especially the children and the young people's stories, which I'm hoping we'll hear more of in Chapter 2. I would have to imagine there's even more weight to convey to them what was going on in the West. How do you choose those actors?
I think when you have children in movies, it always bothered me when children behaved dumbly in movies, when they didn't have high survival instincts. One little boy takes 2 horses, and he outwits men. He survives. When we see that when we're a child, it raises our IQ, how they have to be. I like it when children act right in adult situations.
We know there's Chapter 2 coming in August. Did I hear you mention Chapter 3 as well?
I'm shooting Chapter 3 right now. That's why I have this mustache. No, there's 4. This is all in motion. These are pre-written and done. There's no like, ooh, the movie worked. Let's try to make another one. Let's make something up. I believe so much in the 4 that I wasn't going to shortchange anyone. I just wanted to make these and take that journey. I mean, we still want to go to the theater. Why not see something like this? I mean, there's Father's Day coming up, and it's not that this is just fathers, and it's not just for sons. It's for mothers and daughters. And I would suggest that even though there's a level of violence, there's not gratuitous violence. There's violence, but there's also nobility. There's also family issues that are being dealt with. There's a moral dance that's happening out there. You go to that theater and you look to your wife and you watch your son and you see how he feels when he says he's going to stay with his father. While that breaks our heart, we also wish we had a son like that.
Yeah.
And we see a strong woman raising a strong young woman. You're going to see that in 2. It gets stronger and stronger. And in 3, it's just really amazing. And in 4, you're going to find out that some of this was all a lie.
Wow. Well, you've dumbfounded me now.
How do you think Nashville was formed? You're not sure, are you?
Right.
There's probably a version of it, but what's the truth of it? And
That's
every
right.
town in America, there's a truth buried somewhere about how it happened. And it will start with the indigenous.
Well, thank you for weaving it all together so masterfully. It's been a pleasure to watch, pleasure to talk to you. Make sure you check out Horizon and American Saga in theaters on June 28th.